and I am one of the Filmmaker hosts at the Garden State Film Festival. This year is our 24th year as the festival, and we will be celebrating from March 26th to the 29th. We are stationed in Asbury Park in Cranford, New Jersey, showing over 200 films from various different countries across 9 venues. Today, I get to interview one of the folks with those films, Liars of Black Mountain Road, with Parker Croft, the director and co-writer and producer, and Nolan Gould, the co-writer, actor, producer, and star of the film. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And to let everybody know, this is like a nice little reunion. I got to interview you guys for the film you submitted last year, As Easy as Closing Your Eyes, which if anybody had the pleasure of watching that last interview, this one's going to be similar. But all right, it's great to see you guys again. If you'd like, give a brief introduction and a little synopsis summary of this film.
Sure. Parker, do you want to start? Should I?
Boy, take it away. Take it away.
Okay. All right. Okay. Great. So yeah, my name is Nolan Gould. I'm an actor. I've been an actor for most of my life. It's been 11 years on a little TV show called Modern Family, and then after it ended, I started to transition into the world of filmmaking. I had known Parker for many years, and this is her second project that we've collaborated on. I was involved with As Easy as Closing Your Eyes, and we sat down to write a short film, and this is what we created, and we ended up shooting it in October 2 years ago, and we're very excited to be bringing it out to the world.
We're great. We're very grateful to have you, Parker. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just, yeah, my name is Parker Croft. I am the director and co-writer of this, and I've had the pleasure of collaborating with Nolan for years and years and knowing him for even longer than that. And yeah, we're just really excited to be back at Garden State and sharing the movie with Garden State. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're as equally as excited to have you guys back with us. So this story, you want to get into it? Like you want to tell
Let's
everybody?
Let's get into
it. I mean, there's a ton of places I feel like we can start. We can give you a sort of a description, like a one-line description of it. We can
whatever you're comfortable with. Either way, I think people will get the message.
Yeah. So we have this short film that is a sort of pitch black comedy in sort of the lightest sense of the word. I mean, it is a film that we want to make people laugh, but also is meant to be thought-provoking and to sit uneasy with people. And we basically have this young couple, Abby and Ethan, played by myself and the really talented Millie Gibbons, who sit at the precipice of this sort of like moral dilemma. Something happens in the beginning of our film. Should I just say it, Parker?
Hit it.
Yeah. Our film basically starts, the opening sequence is them hitting a dog, which is some basically sort of a moral dilemma that we've maybe seen before in other films. But we really wanted this to sort of be a crucible and a chance to really test what these characters are made of, and their difference in opinions on morality and what's the right thing to do, and how do you want your partner to be, and what if they're not the person you thought they were. And we just thought that it was a really fun opportunity to sort of break down these characters and break down this relationship. Everyone thinks that they'll behave in a certain way when they're standing in front of a problem until that moment actually comes. And then all those stories that you tell yourself about who you are and who your partner is kind of falls apart when you're faced with the harsh reality of something like this, of how our film starts.
I'm glad you brought up the relationship part, because when I was watching it towards the end, I wrote in my notes, this relationship is totally over. Like there's no way. There's no way.
Coming back from that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was just like, this is the most. And then at the credits, it's you guys, and I hope it's okay to be sharing this.
Go for it, man.
The credits are literally just them sitting in silence, driving the car, like from a perspective from the back. And I was like, neither one of them wants to be in that car any longer.
There are times though that I go back and forth where it's like, because I've sat with that question too of like, what happens to these people after sort of this this veil has been dropped, and I can and sometimes I'm like, okay, this is a doomed couple, and everyone in this car knows it, and the audience, this fly on the wall, like we know it. And then there are other times where I just can't help but thinking you're perfect for each other. And I think that's
a good point.
Anybody that's been in a relationship that feels like this knows what that means, which is like we are terrible together, and somehow like
we make it work. Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate to this film either because they've heard of someone going through this or it's happened to them. It'll bring back memories. Like for me, for example, when I didn't even have my driver's license yet. It was my permit, and I was driving with my dad in the car, and I hit a raccoon. And I haven't thought of that in 14 years. And as soon as that happened, I was like, this is a memory I'd rather keep down.
It's awful feeling.
Right. But it's a very interesting film, and like I feel like the dialogue is very carefully written for this. The liars, for example, in the title, it's. I noticed that in the film, it's mostly the Ethan character is kind of the one who's seen as lying, but I felt like. I apologize. You said Millie was the actress that you were.
Yeah.
Oh, if you wanted to give a shout out to her as well before I went in on her, give her a shout out and everything.
I mean, Millie Gibbons, look her up. She's an incredible actress. We were very lucky to.
Magnificent talent. Yeah, we've actually cast her more than once. We just have only made the movie once. So we cast her in another short film that we never ended up making, but she's fantastic.
Hopefully, future collaborations.
And I'm sure that film will be just as devastating. Yeah, I thought she was fantastic. But a small thing I noticed was that when you were trying to call the name on the number on the tag, she did not want to use her phone, which I was like, there's got to be something like she doesn't want to be tied to it or anything. Was there anything like a hidden, like little like spotlight onto her there, or was it just
absolutely? Yeah. I think the whole entire movie is sort of this like chess game between two people that, there isn't anything that doesn't move someone's position in one direction or another, where they sort of, in the log line, it's literally that they are competing for the moral high ground. Like they want to be the good person in the room, and at the cost of actually being a good person, which is sort of an ironic undoing of their moral fiber in some ways. I really respond to her sort of character and a lot of the things that she believes throughout the film. I respond to them both. As a writer, you have both of these voices in your head that are sort of arguing with each other, and you're like, you kind of have to empathize with all these things, even though they might be, I don't know, darker or more difficult to sort of get inside of. I do sort of think that these are all reasonable perspectives, however difficult they might be to defend.
I think it's very important for storytelling, for like both from a writing and acting standpoint, for characters to really believe in their perspective and really play that, to really like fight for what they believe and not sort of like make. That's one of the reasons why this film sort of blends genre, I guess, in that way, where it feels like it's a drama. Is like we studied a lot of very intricately crafted fight scenes or argument scenes from dramas, and we're like, we need these characters to be very smart, and we need them to make good points, and we need them to like get like to catch each other in little traps and catch each other in little lies. I think to your point about why is she unwilling to sort of make that call, I think you're absolutely right, which is even though she's trying to be the good person, she also doesn't want to take responsibility for this. She just thinks it would be really great if she had a partner who did fully take responsibility for this. And I can certainly empathize with that feeling of being in a relationship. And you're like, man, wouldn't it be so awesome if my partner just did everything right in this moment? And I was like, wow, that was a terrible thing that happened, but you did everything right. And like, I couldn't love you more. And then instead she sees kind of, he doesn't match her what she wants him to be.
I like how you said they want to be the smartest person in that situation. But in, I suppose, the climax where they meet the owner, they both kind of get outsmarted in that Millie wanted you to tell the guy that it was you that hit the dog and everything. And then you say, I did tell him, man, you didn't. And then she goes out and then he's just like, yeah, I knew your bumper probably didn't come in like that. And I was like, oh, so he just knew just by looking at the car that he wasn't getting the full story from these guys. And everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of clues that sort of add up to that. I mean, the dog is warm. Ethan's acting strange. Like, there are a lot of clues that are like, well, like, this doesn't really make complete sense. And I think he's not sort of giving these people any sort of relief from their guilt. He's like, no, you killed my dog. That hurts me. I'm sad about that. And
my job is not to make you feel better right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, kind of sucks for them. Yeah. But sometimes that's the way it shakes out.
I had a question about because like you've been saying and everything, this is an incredibly layered film. I noticed potentially some like symbolic visual stuff. When they put the blanket over the dog, there's a rainbow kind of colors on it. I was like, and maybe I'm off or anything, I know like there's that whole thing like when your pets die, they cross the rainbow bridge or whatever. I think a lot of people, was that something or was it just something where I was like, I think I know what's going on, but.
So there is a lot of symbolism, but the rainbow bridge was not one that we had intended, but I always love it when people are like, that means this. And I'm like, yes, of course.
It is. It is now, Mike. Thank you.
Even though this is live, we'll cut it so that people will be like, wow, this thing has everything. There's funny little things like people will know, like you'll see there's a tiny swinging pendant from the rear view mirror, which is the medal of St. Christopher, which is the patron saint of travelers, to protect travelers. It's filled with these tiny little sort of invisible details. Most of the VFX, there's a lot of VFX in this movie, and almost none of it is visible. Like that's sort of my favorite type of work, is work that you don't notice when you're talking about embellishing a film. It sounds like it's very rewatchable. Like I didn't even notice the pendant that you just mentioned. I'm gonna unfortunately have to. I know that's not the best. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. We did briefly talk about this before coming on. The song at the end that kind of assaults you when it comes on was Who Let the Dogs Out? And as I think I shared, I'll say it again for the interview, was as soon as I heard it, and this is where the black comedy comes in, I did laugh, and then I said out loud, how dare these guys make me laugh at this right now. And I think that attests that it is truly a black comedy, and it is bringing humor to a very dark situation. How did you guys decide to play that song, specifically that song, at the end of this film?
Well, so originally we brought on a composer that we've worked with in the past, Mandy Hoffman, incredibly talented composer. She made this beautiful piece of music. Like, I can't even tell you how much I love this piece of music that she made. And we put it on the movie and we were like, oh my God, this like, it's drenched in feeling. And I simply cannot recover. And this is indiscernibly not a comedy definitively not a comedy at this point. We struggled for a really long time to find a piece of music that like felt like it. And we were like, oh, is it diegetic? Is it a song? Is it this? Is it that? I mean, me and Nolan like listened to so much music. I mean, it took us ages to find the opening song, but and then it started as almost like a what's the worst choice that we could possibly make kind of joke. A collaborator that we've worked with in the past, Aaron Golden, was talking on the phone to us, was like, what do you want for a song? Like, Who Let the Dogs Out? And we were like, that would be ridiculous. Like, whatever. And then we were like,
Great.
maybe Who Let the Dogs Out? And we kept being like, this is such a stupid idea. Like, this will never work. And then like me and Nolan put it on in the edit, and we like could not stop laughing. We were like just dying laughing at this idea because it's so it's such a strong choice.
It is.
And then it was a nightmare to get this song. I cannot tell you how hard it is to get the rights to Who Let the Dogs Out.
The Baja Men were giving you issues.
No, the Baja Men are incredible. I can't thank them enough. Like genuinely, like
Baja Men were the easiest going part. But it's two labels. It's like we talked to managers. We went through like I don't know 400 emails. Like it was crazy.
And it is like it is a ridiculous choice, but at the same time, it's so needed because so much of this movie doesn't play its comedy out loud. It is sort of like you're laughing at the irony of the situation or how terrible these people are. And we just thought with this like beautiful piece of scoring that we had, it was just such a heavy feeling, like walking away from it. It was just like, it's like we told a really good setup and then sort of left and then just like walked off stage. And we're like, we want to allow people to have a nice laugh so that like the movie can come to a close and that you can leave behind some of those really terrible things that you've just witnessed.
It's a release from this thing and this sort of guilty like laugh that you get to have about like, oh my God, these people are terrible people. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bold choice, and I'm glad we made it.
I'm glad you did too. Yeah, it definitely pulled me out. And then real quick, I was like, I don't feel like I should be laughing at this, but I am. And I think that's what you guys were saying you wanted to go for. We are unfortunately out of time. I really appreciate you guys speaking with me and taking the time today. My final question is, will you be able to join us at the festival this year?
It's unknown at this point. Anything's possible, but the hope is definitely to show up there.
Yeah, the hope is to definitely be there. Me and Parker we're taking 2 shorts out onto the festival circuit this year, and so it's going to be a bit of a balancing act. We're definitely going to try to make it. So please come out. We'd love to see you guys if we're there. Yeah, but we're very excited.
Hope you guys are able to make it, so that way for the question portion after it's shown, you can, so to speak, answer for your crimes. But yeah, again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I loved your film. Feels not, like I said, I can't think of the right word to say how I enjoyed it. And for everybody who's watching, The Liars of Black Mountain Road will be shown Saturday, March 28th, block TA14 from 9:15 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Guys, Parker, Nolan, thank you again so much for joining me. Your other film, Hell, will also be shown, and that interview will be coming out pretty soon. So thank you once again.
Thanks a lot for having us, Mike.
Of course. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.